A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant escalation of its crackdown on dissent, a Moscow court has sentenced Grigory Melkonyants, the co-chair of Russia's leading independent election monitoring group, Golos, to 5 years in prison. The charges against Melkonyants stem from allegations of organizing the work of an undesirable organization, a designation that has been increasingly used by the Russian government to silence critics and independent voices. The ruling reflects the government's ongoing efforts to suppress dissent, particularly following its military actions in Ukraine that began in 2022. Golos, which has been a key player in monitoring elections and exposing electoral fraud since its founding in 2000, has faced significant pressure from authorities over the years. In 2013, the organization was labeled a foreign agent, a term that carries heavy stigma and implies heightened scrutiny. 3 years later, the Russian Justice Ministry dissolved Golos as a non-governmental organization, NGO. Despite these challenges, Golos has continued to operate, focusing on exposing electoral violations even without formal registration. The recent charges against Melkonyants are linked to his association with the European Network of Election Monitoring Organizations, which was declared undesirable in Russia in 2021. Melkonyants' conviction is part of a broader trend in Russia, where independent journalists, activists, and opposition figures have faced increasing repression. The government has shut down numerous independent media outlets and labeled many rights groups as foreign agents or undesirable. The environment for dissent has grown increasingly hostile, with hundreds of activists facing criminal charges. Melkonyants was arrested in August 2023, and his trial has drawn attention to the harsh conditions faced by political prisoners in Russia. He reported being moved between cells multiple times and having over 100 different cellmates since his arrest. Throughout the proceedings, Melkonyants maintained his innocence, describing the charges as politically motivated and aimed at intimidating independent observers. In his final statement to the court, he expressed resilience, stating, "I feel joy at having become stronger through this ordeal and not losing faith." His lawyer, Mikhail Buryakov, criticized the prosecution as baseless and suggested that the authorities are attempting to silence independent observers to ensure that electoral fraud goes unchallenged. The recent conviction of Melkonyants has raised alarms among human rights advocates and international observers, who warn that this is part of a systematic effort to eliminate independent oversight of elections in Russia. Critics argue that the electoral process in Russia has long been marred by irregularities, including ballot stuffing and voter coercion, undermining the integrity of elections. Golos has been at the forefront of documenting these issues, running an online platform that maps reported violations during elections. The organization's commitment to transparency and accountability in the electoral process has made it a target for the Kremlin. As the political climate in Russia continues to deteriorate, the fate of independent organizations like Golos hangs in the balance. The conviction of Grigory Melkonyants serves as a stark reminder of the risks faced by those who dare to challenge the Kremlin's narrative and advocate for democratic principles. The international community is watching closely as the situation unfolds, with calls for the immediate release of Melkonyants and other political prisoners growing louder. The implications of this case extend beyond Russia's borders, as it raises critical questions about the state of democracy and human rights in the region. As the Kremlin tightens its grip on power, the resilience of independent voices like Melkonyants and Golos will be tested like never before. The outcome of this ongoing struggle will have lasting effects on the future of civil society in Russia and the broader fight for democratic freedoms across the globe. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.